It's an areological, autoerotical, tubular, bovular joy. An exposular, regional, batular, pouchular, fun for girl and boy. A latissimal, dorsical, hung like a horsical, caliphalygical ball.
The most bunular, funnular.
Fruit of the lumula.
Frenchical, tongular.
Wabada, bobular, bunular, fruit of the lubular, frenchical, tongular, wabada, bobular, lessical, orbical, smirtus, bobular, tosa, particular ball. Hey!
Hey guys, how's the movie?
Oh, it's breastica, bubical, chestica, mammical, pendular, globular. Oh, for crying out loud, movie sound.
You have to do your vocal warm-ups. I got this idea for a movie. Do you want to hear about it?
What's a movie?
You know the scene from Event Horizon where they're in hell and it's just like a blood orgy and there's like women raping men and people ripping their eyes out and shit?
There's an extended version of that.
Yeah, the footage doesn't exist. It wasn't stored in a salt mine improperly and decomposed.
Yeah?
Yep. Anyway, also, you know the scene in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas where there's the lizard people? I think they might be velociraptors and they're fucking each other and they're in a pool of blood and they're eating each other, killing people and shit.
Vaguely.
Picture like all that, right? But picture it all happening because it's the end of the world and there's a meteorite headed towards the Earth. But picture it's back in the dinosaur days. And this whole movie, though, takes place inside the 20th anniversary movie filming of Barney and Friends. So it's like a blood orgy death fest because there's an asteroid that's going to wipe the dinosaurs out, but it's in Barney and Friends and it's a porno.
Oh, all right. I'm on board.
Yeah. And if you think about it, how many demographics do you hit with
Barney porn?
With Baby Bop and Barney? Not only is that bestiality, that is extinct bestiality. That is an untouched market.
That's all 90s too. Oh no, Fear and Loathing. That's 2000 something.
No, that's 90s, right? But anyway, what do you think about the movie?
I like it. And I would greenlight it if I was a studio head. That would already be greenlight.
So you have bestiality, not only bestiality but extinct bestiality, and there's male and female cast members and cameramen. So that's homosexuality and sex. And if you add in the Baby Bop as a kid and all the other ones are a kid too, I mean, we can't sell in the United States, but that opens up to a whole new market. The pedo market is huge.
That's right.
Ask Charlie. You know how much money he spends a month alone on that shit?
It's kind of sickening. I went to talk to him about it, and he just fucking took off. He ran away.
I have to go destroy a hard drive.
He ran away. He ran away into my closet, but...
You're taking that rusty canoe out in the lake again? With that big bag of hard drives? Yeah, you know... I don't want anybody to play my old video game characters I got saved on here. Likely story. So this podcast is about Charlie.
That's right.
No, it's about wrestling. It's about Heyman. It's about Heyman and Bischoff taking over Raw and SmackDown, respectively.
Before we get to that.
Oh, we're going to do the Immortal Championship Wrestling.
We'll do a recap on that.
Immortal Championship Wrestling on Facebook. ICW had their show in Schenectady, New York at the Armory. In the opening Rumble was winner CJ Scott, TIW, and other regular from local promotions. I enjoyed the Battle Royal quite a bit personally. I don't think I've ever filmed one of that magnitude. It was a lot to film. You couldn't film at all. There was just action everywhere. What did you think about it?
I like the ending with was it the last 4 people and Kennedy was in it. And that was solid. That was good booking for the Battle Royal, which is, Battle Royal is usually just a throw together kind of thing. So, but it was really entertaining. The crowd was into it.
Mr. Man chokeslammed her at ringside.
Yep.
After the match.
Yep.
Then we had the returning Tyrek, who's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
He's actually been wrestling over in Europe.
Yeah.
And he also is a photographer, wedding photographer and otherwise, that values photography bookings as much as wrestling bookings, I believe. So I believe he's pursuing both careers equally, which is cool.
It's interesting to see some of these guys, what their side or secondary.
This seems like it's like a 50-50 for him.
Yeah, like what their other careers are. 'Cause some of them you would expect they just work like this, whatever Joe Schmo job, and then other ones, like Mr. Man, for example, has the whole animal thing.
Don't blow it for him. Mr. Man's old school, man. He's kayfabe, man. You don't want to go talking about his business. Next thing you know,
Look at the vehicle he pulls up in.
Next thing you know,
kidding me?
Next thing you know,
shameless self-promotion.
Now you're gonna tell people that he's twins next, and he's actually two people, and that's how he gets beat up every show.
Triplets.
I love Mr. Man. Let's skip ahead a little bit. That was super scary when he got dropped on his head.
Yeah, that was quite the botch.
Luckily, he was okay.
Right there, parallel with it, like right in front of me, and I saw it, kind of a. I don't know if it was the jump or the attempted lift.
Yeah, it could have either been timing or the lift. I
think it was time. It was timing. Just watching it, it was an attempted power bomb through a table, and the power bomb turned into a pile driver.
A gonzo bomb.
An inverted tombstone pile driver, basically.
Yeah.
But
that was scary.
He was straight. He was all right. He's
got a concussion.
So.
That was an excellent match, but not to skip ahead too much. Tyrek went over Benjamin Blackwell, who on the last podcast I blasted thoroughly. I thought he did good this time. I thought it was cool seeing Tyrek come back. He lost for like a whole year fighting Ataxia. I thought it was cool. It was just cool to see him back, and it was a well-worked match too. How Blackwell kind of got beat down 3 times and kept saying, "Oh, you don't," whatever he said. You don't think I can take it, and Tyrek whooped him, and I thought Blackwell did good in his role of getting his ass whooped. I was pretty impressed with him.
It was kind of an unexpected one too. The whole, I deserve more. I want my shot. And then Tyrek comes back. It's like, fuck, man, I didn't expect it.
Mm-hmm. Then we had Recon and his 3 crew of previously unknown to me wrestlers, the Sight Jin Squad, which I just assumed was a Dragon Ball Z thing. They beat Ataxia in a 14-minute match, and that was a crazy fucking match. That might have been my favorite of the night.
Yeah, that one broke down just the way we figured it. It broke down.
Not the way we figured it.
Well, no, we figured it would break down
at the end. It broke down at the beginning.
Yeah,
which was really cool. I thought they totally flipped it of what everybody thought. It must
have been like a minute into the match, and it was complete fucking
during
chaos.
The entrances.
It
was great.
It was all over the place. It wasn't. Not all over the place as in bad as in the match. It was just all over the place as in
great.
Everyone was fucking everywhere, and it was literally gang warfare, which is what you kind of expect the thing to do. I would say match of the night, definitely.
I would say so too. When I film like a tag match, like a great tag match, I can still properly as a fan watch it and keep track of the story they're trying to tell and such. But filming a match like that with just so much going on at one time, it was just all I could do to make sure you were filming one thing and I was filming another, and it was just so chaotic, and it was just awesome. It was super enjoyable. Like, in filming it, I was totally unable to even follow the story of the match or whatever, which was great, which, I mean, was perfect. The cameraman's not supposed to fucking understand it. The fans are. If I was in the crowd, that...
What I ended up actually doing throughout the filming that one is I actually just widened the shot and took a step back into the entrance. Like, I just as much as possibly can at one time, because it's about the only way you could do it.
I was going to ask who Ataxia feuds with next, but it looks like if Recon and these guys... I didn't even remember they won. I had to look that up tonight. It was so crazy. Recon and his boys won, so I assume that means Recon and his 3 guys will be feuding with Ataxia regularly, which would be cool. I was going to ask who Ataxia feuds with next, if not Recon, but I think it'll be Recon and the crew.
You think it'll keep going with that? You don't think that was the payoff?
Maybe Recon won, and then he goes on to be a single, but he had
to get in the heavyweight picture.
He brought his boys in, and they were all good too, and they've got to do something. I was thinking if they don't feud with Ataxia, I'd like to see Ataxia feud with. I've always liked the Street. I think they're really good. That wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, but overall that match is I think it was match of the night.
I also want to know what Bishop's win-loss record is overall, because he was eliminated from the Royal Rumble. And I think I've seen him win matches before. I would guess he's a little bit less than 50-50. But Bishop, I'd like to know.
Like a 445.
Yeah, I'd really like to know. And I bet he has a short match times too, so a lot of his wins are probably
5 minutes, 7 minutes.
Very quick. Yeah. Then Fox Vineyard over King Leon. Do you have any thoughts on that?
It's cool to see Fox back. You don't really see him much because he's doing a lot of Ring of Honor stuff.
He's all over, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't see him for a good reason, though, for him personally. It's like Mark, you can't see him every show, but it's because he's out doing a lot of crazy things, good things.
Yeah, so I thought the match was pretty solid. You know what I'm really surprised is the Firework Fox Vineyard. Just the whole. It seems like such a simple idea of a gimmick, but it just fucking works. And like I don't even know why, but it just fucking works.
Yeah, the outfit.
Every time I see him, I'm like.
And the entrance. And it makes you wonder if he got it from that Katy Perry song. It's possible.
Maybe, I don't know. That's usually how something works out. That's how fucking like these things work out. It's just like you're sitting there and you hear something that's minuscule to everybody else. You're like, yeah.
That's one of his
I'm
four
turn
different.
That into something.
That's one of his 4 different characters. If you hit left C 2 times, you become Firework Fox Vineyard. If you hit it 4 times, you become Fred.
Don't ever fucking
Durst.
do the Fred Durst thing, because fuck Fred Durst. Fuck.
That's the whole point, though. Even Fred Durst says that. He said he played a character, and that's why people thought he literally said that he played a character in the 90s to be an over-the-top douche. That's why people thought he was one.
No, it wasn't. Well, maybe that is true. I will say this: there was in a recent interview I listened to Fred Durst, and I actually have to give him credit where credit is due. I'm kind of veering to the side for a minute here, but for the longest time, I just remember this one interview where Fred Durst cut down Zakk Wylde fans and Slipknot fans.
Really?
Yeah, which subsequently is the same fucking people that listen to Limp Bizkit. It was like, you just cut down
What the
your
fuck did he-
fucking fan base.
Yo, bro, Zakk Wylde doesn't even have a DJ, son.
Yeah, which really fucking just made my head spin. I'm like,
He didn't say that, did he?
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did. But it made my head spin because I'm like, okay, so you have your library of whatever the fuck you call it.
You said Limp
And
Biz-
you're cutting down Slipknot, which is an awesome band, and Zakk Wylde, who maybe I'm biased, but who is one of the best fucking metal guitarists out there today.
He's
and like a well-rounded musician, like a pianist and fucking awesome.
He's like hard rock Eric Clapton.
What the fuck are you talking about? What are you? And like I said, it's his own fan base. The same fucking kids listen to his band. What the fuck are you doing? Whatever though. But anyway, yeah. So don't do the Fred Durst thing, because whatever. Anyway.
So Fox over King Leon. I too was happy to see Fox back. Previous to the show, I was standing out front talking to 3 guys. Hey, I'm Tyler. I'm so and so. I'm so and so. I'm so and so.
Don't use your real
one guy
name.
said he was Tyler.
You're
I
better
said
than
I'm
these people.
Monterey Jack. This one guy said I'm Tyler. Whatever, some asshole. And then I said hi to 2 other guys who were sitting there talking for a couple minutes, and we're talking about the card. And I go Now I go, yeah, we got Fox is back. That's cool. He's wrestling King Leon. I go, yeah, that King Leon, I like him, man. He's got a good promo. He's got a good promo like that EC Negro guy. He's good on the mic and shit. And everybody's like, yeah. And they go, and he goes, or they go, you know that's King Leon, right? The guy I was standing there talking to for like 3 minutes. It's like, oh shit, because he introduced me as his real name.
Right.
And I guarantee I've seen him wrestle before in different promotions, but just in the street clothes and stuff, I didn't recognize
I only
him.
saw him leading up to that match because listen, with all the fucking shit that I do, I
Tell me about
it's
it.
nearly fucking impossible to follow like all these indie feds. That's why he's here, because he fucking follows indie wrestling. So, wrestling guy. So when I hear this new guy is coming like to wrestle Fox, I'm like, all right. So the week before the show, I just kind of did a quick brush up on who this guy was. Great charisma,
Oh, yeah.
for Northeast wrestling and shit like that.
And he's
Not
over in the
promotion,
city
just-
where it's busy in the Philly, Jersey, New York City. He's busy
Yeah.
in that indie circuit, so you know he's good.
Yeah, he's great charisma. I like his gimmick. Wasn't really a big fan of his attire, kind of generic, but whatever. You know,
He did have a weird attire.
Yeah, you do your thing.
He looked like somebody, but I can't think of.
Like a cross between Bret Hart and the Conquistadors. I don't know.
All right. Canadian conquistadors.
Yeah.
They apologize. They take over and say sorry. We took your land and raped your women. Sorry.
But yeah, it's he had great charisma and good ring work. Really good ring work. Pretty solid.
I think he did a backflip, which
How many times have I fucking said solid so far just in this one cast tonight?
I'm not sure.
Too many times. Whatever. That's solid.
That's pretty solid.
That's hot.
Yeah. And then we had Punisher Van Slyke with his awesome manager, whose name unfortunately escapes me, winning the Immortal
the
title
Reverend or whatever
from
the fuck.
Slick Wagner Brown. The Reverend is at right now probably putting on lipstick like Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison, caressing the title that you personally made with your own hands. He's probably in a bathtub wearing his suit, a bathtub full of like Gatorade or something with that title, just rubbing it. How do you feel about that?
That's another leather job, so whatever. It's job security.
It's gonna ruin the leather, you think?
In the bathtub.
Why does it smell like Mountain Blast? Stay away from it. This is mine. I love that guy. Oh, he's great.
he's great. He's kind of a throwback to the '90s. Kind of manager. I love the fact that Brute got this guy to manage him. 'Cause it really I think it really kind of elevates Brute to the next level.
He's related to...
Clearly it does, because now he's wearing the strap.
He's related to an old 2CW wrestler.
Is he?
Yeah. His brother, Loco Vita, was his brother. So he has ties to the 2CW, or has been involved, not involved, but he's has ties with the wrestlers and stuff like that.
Is 3CW... Is that like a
3CW
resurrection?
No, 3CW is a promotion that ran down in, I think, New York City, Philly, Jersey area in the early 2000s, 2010s or something. They brought in Raven, Sandman, New Jack a lot. They bring in a lot of old ECW guys, and they had some cool stuff going on. But that was 3CW. I think they had a notable owner too, but maybe Blue Meanie was Booker or something. I don't know.
That was just
coincidence. 3CW and 2CW.
Well, the 3CW.
There's probably 1CW also.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. That was just one of those, let's just switch the direction of the E kind of things, because they're using a bunch of ECW guys. They turn the E around, 3CW.
Yeah, it was...
anyway, that has really nothing to do with whatever. Yeah, so Brute won
the title.
He got the heavyweight title.
Which I hope, and I think, and I imagine, will lead to him feuding with Big Nick Sullivan.
Possibly.
Oh, man.
I hope it's a long reign. I do hope it's a long reign.
Yeah, you would.
It's I'm happy that Brute won. I really am. He's constantly out on social media, constantly promoting himself. He's constantly talking himself up. Quite the character.
I
awesome
think Slick
character.
is just as good in that respect, though. Just as far as Slick being such a veteran and traveling so much, they're both just as good as being representatives of the title.
And I think a good heel fucking champion. Good heel champion is always just. But I like heels and bad guys and everything.
His manager, I give him the Mr. Man treatment when I film. Whenever I see that you're filming something and there's not much going on, and they're next to me or they're doing something, or even if they're not doing anything,
just film him.
I will film over and be like, you want to yell at these kids? Or, I just, he's
shitheads.
Great. What happens when he cross paths with Mr. Man?
I fucking can't wait.
A hair versus hair match?
And you know what? Mr. Man should...
hair versus hair.
That would be pretty...
That would be great.
Yeah. Because you legitimately don't know who the fuck would win.
And whoever lost it would be hilarious.
Yes.
Call Mike. Put him on speakerphone.
That's right. We got a book, so Mr. Man ends up fucking... managing Nick Sullivan.
But yeah, I think that's cool. That was
those two face each other in a hair versus hair.
That was a good match too. You got anything else on that match?
It was slow pace, but slow pace because it's supposed to be slow pace. Because there's two big fucking guys. Even though Slick can move for his size,
he's also big.
Yeah. It was just. It was slow. Yeah, it was slow pace in a good way. It was booked right. I'll tell you what though, that arena.
And how about how hot the fans were compared to how hot it was inside?
And this is no exaggeration.
That's a testament to the fans in the show, though, that it was such a good show and everybody was in such high spirits. It
was. This is no exaggeration. It had to have been at least 90 degrees inside that venue. At one point, it was. By intermission, it was warmer inside than it was outside. It was like sunny and like 90 in the low 90s all day that day. It was so goddamn hot. It
was as hot as the action in the ring, my friend.
Yeah.
We had Haas's retirement match. Well, think about it. We had Haas's retirement match. He's from Schenectady. Christina Marie, very popular from Schenectady. Len Oddie from Schenectady. Smoke of Ataxia from Schenectady. That was
just all those names right there brought in a lot of fans, and we had it was over 550 people at the show.
was it?
Yeah. I don't know the exact number, but
We had the, of course, afternoon seminar from Ricky Reyes, who's an accomplished indie wrestler who has probably been in PWG, and he's been all over. I'm not sure. He might have been even been on Impact. I'm
you have
not
to
sure.
fact check that one.
Nah, that happened.
Okay.
And he had
There's the check.
He was beat by Robo, the Punjabi Lion, who's been making big things happen wrestling for the Great Khali over in India and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
what I thought was interesting about that was it was a 10-minute match, and it was a very good match. But I felt like it was a very good, like, 14-minute match. Maybe those guys are just good enough, or maybe it was so hot, or maybe they're so good they can really compact the story that much. That was pretty enjoyable for 10 minutes for what it was. I thought it was real good. Robo's really getting there. What do you think?
It's the same thing. It was. I don't know. Not really any notes on that one. There's a few matches I don't really have many notes on. Nothing that it wouldn't be anything like the rest of them. This whole card was solid, so.
Big Nick Sullivan over Terrell Kenneth, also Big Terrell Kenneth, in the Last Man Standing match.
This one was good.
This one was very good.
This one was better than actually I thought it was going to be.
Really?
Yes, absolutely.
I had huge expectations for it.
It was better than I thought it was going to be, especially, like I said, for the temperature of just the venue. Because I thought just staying there filming, just seeing how hot it was, I'm like, this is going to suck the life out of half this roster. And it really didn't. It didn't.
No.
It was uncomfortable, I'm sure, but it didn't suck the life out of it. So.
Now, I hope both of these guys, I hope their feud continues and carries over into a feud with Brute Van Slyke in the title scene, because a three-way or any combination of that match with those guys would be really cool. Those chair shots in that match were fucking insane.
Yeah.
I think I have been to a lot of shows, and I think the first two chair shots to the back, the ones Nick Sullivan hit Terrell Kenneth with, was just, I don't even want to use a cliche statement, it was just a clap, it was just an explosion. He wailed the piss out and didn't totally destroy the chair and didn't seem to overly injure Terrell Kenneth.
I think part of the chair got destroyed because after the first initial
I'm sure he
shot,
bent the
there
fuck
was
out of it.
Well, no, there was actually a piece that he fucking took off and ripped off. So
Flew off, yeah.
Yes.
I'm just trying to say that he hit him as humanly hard as possible without seriously injuring him. You know what I mean? I'm trying to say like how hard he hit him
Yeah.
without accidentally breaking his elbow or really hurting him, which he fucking wailed him. That was awesome. That was great. Table break was unfortunate, but shit happens.
Yeah.
But that didn't take away from it, I don't think. I think that was awesome, and I hope that carries on. You got any more thoughts on that one?
That table break was from a headbutt, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think it was a headbutt.
Punch, headbutt, something.
Yeah, I think it was a headbutt.
It was a strike,
He
and
headbutted him through the fucking table.
He timbered onto it, but nobody gave him shit about it because it actually, I think, came off like it could have been intentional.
Yeah, I think, obviously, I don't think it was supposed to happen that way.
No, I don't think so.
But just the fact that when I was standing there filming it and I saw the headbutt and I saw him, like, actually, I think he was supposed to just lay on it. But because it was like a bam bam kind of thing, it was the headbutt and he went directly through it, fucking deadwood through it. It made sense still. I'm like,
It did, yeah. The fans were still like, oh.
all right, awesome.
Yeah.
Didn't see that one coming,
That
but
was
that's
great.
awesome. Yeah.
He's on fire too, Sullivan. He's been getting good bookings, wrestling Scott Steiner up in World of Hurt and everything, and he's taking off pretty quick, man. He deserves it. Real nice guy too. And brings us, speaking of tables, to Big Hoss, Schenectady native, retiring in a best 2 out of 3 tables match with Schenectady's own Len Oddie. I was very happy to see Len, very happy to see a tables match. I didn't even know it would be a 2 out of 3 tables match until they set up 4 tables around ringside.
Yeah.
I was in heaven for that one.
I like Len. I absolutely love Len Oddie. It's a great break and everyone's serious gimmick and everything. And everyone likes, nowadays, you go way back. Everyone has
I think he's pretty cookie cutter. He's run of the mill. He really doesn't have a unique look.
Well, everyone has to be like a badass, like whatever.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's just like, fuck it. And he
kind of
does
looks
whatever.
like Joe Every Guy,
His look is not like well, it stand out for what the fuck he looks like as compared to everyone
He looks
else.
like when you start with like a blank slate on Creator Wrestler, and it's just a guy with knee pads and tights, and just like a white guy with just his hair slicked back and just like regular.
Right.
That's what then. He needs more flair to his gimmick. He doesn't have enough color, I feel.
But his
maybe a little pizzazz, some
bedazzled
face paint or something, or.
Who the fuck would do face paint? Come on.
Oh, Len Oddity.
Yeah.
I thought you meant Glenn Oddity.
Oh, all right.
Oh yeah, Len.
No.
Len's awesome.
No, I'm talking about Glenn.
No, I was just trying to be sarcastic about Len being a cookie cutter, because he's certainly not. Len's fucking he's nuts, and that was an awesome match, man. That was a lot of fun, and the table spots were crazy too.
Yeah. What was it? No, it was a fall to the outside. Was the one on the far side of me, wasn't it? It was right to your right.
When they both fell off the apron.
Yeah, that was a double fall off it.
That one was to your left because.
No. The one further over. I think it was the first. I think it was the first.
Did they do that
second
twice?
fall.
Did they both fall? Or was that a
I can't
sidewalk
remember because
slam
there
off
was
the
fucking
apron?
shit
Yeah,
in front
man.
of me when I was filming it, and the ref is right in my shot.
I got insane. I got really good camera views on all.
The one
those
right next to me,
table
yeah.
breaks.
That was the last one where they both ended up going.
The one where they both fell off the apron. I was right by the table, and the guardrail was behind me, and I put my hand on the back of my head just in case they overshot. I was just thinking, like, fuck it, if these guys smash into me, at least I won't crack my head open, you know.
Don't worry, I'll get it on camera.
And typically in those situations, I'll just hold the camera and get a good shot and then like watch it with my own eyes. But I was just so into it, like I wanted to just make sure the shot looked good, and I think I got some real good. It was just so much fun for me seeing all those tables get smashed.
Yeah.
And Len's great too. Any more on that?
I thought Len played it up probably about as smart as you can get, because Len's a fan favorite. He's a face,
Especially in Schenectady.
yeah. But he's facing Haas in a retirement match, who brought in a shit ton of fucking fans. So he's like, right at the beginning, he cut that promo just to kind of put himself on the good side of all his fans and everything. I was like, all right, great selling, great way of Len selling to Haas, like, this guy's gonna kick my ass.
Yeah.
So let's just.
Like, oh damn! All right, test the strength.
He goes,
all right.
yeah, the test of strength, and then he goes like to actually fucking fisticuffs him, and he's like, "I'm not gonna like this." Haas like, "You're not gonna like that." It's like that was great. That was, yeah. So ended up being went the full 3 table breaks.
And then Mr. Man was slammed through the 4th one.
Yeah.
More comeuppance. That's 2 tables in 1 year. He's been exploded through.
Yeah.
Which is a term I'm going to start using a lot.
Exploded.
Exploded through a table because John Oliver said it on his WWE rant, and he said, "I get health care and I've worked here for 11 years and I have never once been exploded through this table." Because they played.
That was a great impression. I have to. If you're watching, clap at home because that was brilliant. I like it.
That's all I got. Just that one sentence.
Oh, damn it! How long did it take you to work on it? Anyway, so yeah, so that was a good retirement match. It was a good send off too. And
do you think if it was like
the only thing that pissed me off is while I was I'm sitting there filming, and suddenly in my head I always like, it would be a badass theme song. Like if I ever actually wanted to get in the ring, had the fucking time to do it. Like I always wanted to come out as a heel, run this like neo-punk like gimmick, and then come out to Marilyn Manson's 1996 because it's this fucking awesome song.
like a Fallout type of gimmick. I don't think Len. I don't think Len is so much like the.
No. I'm talking about just me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He's got the gear like it with the spikes and the ratty coat and shit.
But something like that, like kind of like
Marcus Crane does that from GCW. He actually goes to like 2-week-long festivals called Wasteland, where everybody is all dirty and drives around rusty Jeeps and fucking does drugs and shit.
So like a Mad Max kind of thing, like that kind of deal. So like I'd come out to like Marilyn Manson's 1996, like awesome song, like great anti-everything song, literally, because that's fucking lyrics are. And then it's like, if I ever went face, I could come out to like Beastie Boys Sabotage. And like
You're just thinking about yourself while you're filming this match.
Well, no. This is stuff I've thought of before. And then like another one is like, or it could come out to George Thorogood, Bad to the Bone, because like
Haas does that.
it's like nobody fucking comes out to that. So I'm standing there filming, and all of a sudden, I'm like, you fucker, what?
He retired,
like,
man.
Nobody ever comes out.
You should have asked his permission.
I know, right?
Potentially use it.
So yeah, Haas, awesome. Like.
And we had the ladder match
for it and everything, and that was great retirement and everything. But that was the first thing that popped into my head. Anyway,
the 7-man ladder match.
Yeah,
which was good. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The obvious thing to say here is that they should have. It was too hard to take.
Carabiners.
It was too hard to take it down.
Carabiners.
Well, you don't want the guy to win the match too quick. You want them to actually have to earn the victory, but it was just too difficult.
That
for
was
the wrestlers.
4.5 minutes of earning that victory. Tyler Vincent deserves that for getting that goddamn thing off the ladder.
They were just so gassed at the end.
Yeah.
They were so gassed at the end that it just took them too long. That was it. No, I went on too long. Yeah, you can't. I liked how they had the trash can, and I think the title could have been up a little higher. It was real chaotic, though. They did, but you could
As a ladder match should be. It was.
Yeah.
It was good. It was definitely good.
I liked how Axel Lennox, who's a hardcore wrestling aficionado, made sure to go get in there and take a hip toss into the ladder in the corner and such.
Yep.
And
I was actually half expecting someone to go through a ladder. I was like, I don't know.
Me too. I was hoping something would get destroyed. You know.
Someone's a Brivlier.
But Tyler Vincent won that.
Yep. So now he's got the whole King's Court contract or whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, he's got the briefcase,
Yeah, it's a cash in for a title shot.
Yeah. I
don't know if there's a time limit or whatever on it. I don't know if they're running it that way, but that's what he's got.
And then the main event for the first ever Dynasty Women's title, which you designed, Christina Marie wins over Veda Scott, and both from Russia, shockingly, Masha Slamovich and
I like the name.
Layla Hirsch.
Yep.
Layla Hirsch was the CZW ring girl. She went to the CZW Academy for a long time. And when
like a little stick of dynamite.
When I found out that she was in training to become a wrestler and would watch her do security, and I'd be like, okay, this girl's like 4'11", but I like that she's actually pretty good at the amateur wrestling. It seems the grappling aspect of it and shit, and she's actually pretty strong too. You can tell she lifts weights and shit.
That's what I said. She's a little stick of dynamite.
I think it's cool that they put her in a gimmick right off the rip where she's an ass kicker as opposed to being the underdog or something. That's cool, I think.
Friendly, like huggy kind of whatever chick.
And Masha Slamovich, also stupid name. I think it sounds like it's from Glow or something. There's probably right.
It does.
Right.
No wonder why I like it.
I kind of like it too, but it's dumb. It's dumb for sure.
Something that you'd hear in the 90s.
It's cool seeing Veda Scott again. I like Veda a lot. She's had some sloppy moments in the past. Nothing really bad, but just some botchy stuff and for 10 seconds in matches and other promotions. But she was solid the whole match. They threw a lot of German suplexes. They kind of rolled. They weren't real German suplexes. I think they could have stiffened those up a little bit, but they did a lot of cool high flying shit. And Christina's top rope flying crossbody from the top to the outside was awesome. I just sat Indian style right on the floor and filmed that right from the floor. I got a great angle on that. It was cool as hell seeing her win the title too. And that's a badass title he made there. What do you think of that match?
I like the spot with the double camel clutch there that Christina had.
Oh yeah, it was the triple submission.
Was it a triple? Yeah. It was a reverse bow and arrow or some shit like that too, if I remember right.
Boston Crab something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not very good with the submission names.
Yeah, that was a triple submission. That's right. I forgot about that. So that was a cool spot. The double German. Yeah, there was the spot where there was a double German suplex in either opposite direction of the ring.
So I mean, some of the Germans were good, and I understand the girls. Some of them were like 5 feet tall, and you can't really go chucking a chick over your head.
Most of them were.
Yeah, I know, but
like 3 of the 4 of them were like 5'3" and under.
You could land at 90. You can even land at like 80, but when you're landing at a 75-degree angle,
right,
or a whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Should have been more angle slams. Also, I feel
there was There was that was a good match. That was really enjoyable.
Yeah, and the crowd even dug
Crowd
it too.
was really hot into that too.
Mm-hmm.
Really, obviously, Christina's a hometown girl there. Christina.
That was the best show I've ever filmed, I'd say, for sure.
Became inaugural champion. I was fucking sad to see that belt go.
Alundra Blaze was looking hot for 56 or however old she
Here we
is, dude.
go.
Oh my God, she's tall, dude. She is tall. She's
tall.
5'10", and she was wearing a black fucking pantsuit and hot pink heels, and she looked good. And I fucked her twice.
Twice?
Yep.
Okay.
I've done sex with most of the women that are in the WWE Hall of Fame for women, or have been there even.
Yeah?
Yep.
Still doing those flip comics, huh?
So Alundra, don't call me. I gave her a fake number.
Is that why she keeps calling me? All right, yeah. So that was a good show. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Best ICW show.
Best
so far.
ICW show yet, for sure. And I can't wait till the next one is in Rome, which I believe is an air-conditioned arena. That ought to be
August 24th, I think.
Is it okay?
I think it's something like that.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah. All right.
On to
what was released last week. I believe it was the week before, of Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff taking over the directing roles of Raw and SmackDown. Paul Heyman doing Raw and Eric Bischoff being the executive director for SmackDown. Interesting, to say the least. First off, when I first heard about it, I didn't know if this was McMahon's way of locking in Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff so they didn't go to AEW. I don't think Paul Heyman's going to AEW because he's got so many roles already before this in WWE.
Did the Young Bucks even get along with Eric Bischoff, or?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I don't know.
They probably don't like his. Probably don't like him.
Well, I know there was a question before that Eric was asked if AEW asked them to be, or I think they might have asked them to have some kind of backstage role, a producer or something in AEW, and like how he would go about it. And I mean, it's on record, it's pretty obvious, like Eric Bischoff's fuck ups, like in the tail end of WCW, which I don't really think that was so much Eric Bischoff as it was Vince Russo. And the fact that everyone on top of WCW wasn't a wrestling guru or didn't have anything to, they had no idea what wrestling, like anything to do with wrestling.
Were Bischoff's
they were more, they were
political. He got too much into the politics of it. Got too involved with Nash and his boys and all that shit. Is it fair to say that Bischoff's fuck ups were political and Heyman's were financial?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. And then Eric Bischoff and TNA when that whole thing happened. But the thing is when I first heard, all right, Paul Heyman's taking over Raw, but he answers to McMahon. Awesome. Eric Bischoff's taking over SmackDown, and he answers to McMahon. Awesome, because Eric Bischoff has already said on multiple accounts, I know where I fucked up in the past. So just going by that, and I'm maybe, I'm giving him too much rope, enough for him to hang me and everyone else. But
hasn't Bischoff
benefit of the doubt, because he was one of the pioneers, he created the NWO, and he fucking led WCW to sometimes destroy WWF back in the day. I think it's a really smart move for McMahon.
Has he been in charge of any sort of WWF programming for an extended period of time in the past?
No.
He hasn't done, he didn't do SmackDown for a couple of years or something? Heyman hasn't either?
Paul Heyman wrote for SmackDown.
Just wrote for him, though?
Some time ago.
So neither one of them has been given full helm of any...
No. From what I gather, McMahon, Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are basically going to have the same kind of creative control as Triple H does with NXT. Which is a lot. So basically, those shows are going to be their shows. McMahon still has say, but I think Vince McMahon finally realizes something different has to be done which thank God he's doing this. And who better to like give the reins to the fucking, you know, these shows to than the two guys that he directly competed against 20 some years ago.
I could tell you who better. There's a guy they have as a, what's he listed as? I think he's a consultant. Gabe Sapolsky. He's been in the wrestling business for a long time. He's behind Evolve and Dragon Gate. Evolve is said to be, I think, arguably the number one indie promotion.
Ooh, that's affiliate WWE.
Yeah. I think I'd like to see Gabe step up. I mean, I wish he ran it instead. He's probably teaching Triple H how to do the shit.
Maybe. I'd
like to see him involved in it more.
Knowledgeable, like with wrestling today, but
I'd like to see Gabe involved with everything.
Right.
And also that leads me to ask you, what do you think about the age of Heyman and Bischoff? They got to be there. They are pretty old by now, as well as even Triple H.
I don't really think. I mean, look at McMahon 20 years ago when he was like, he just ran the wrestling world. I mean, he was in his late 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really think it's age. I just think if you're locked into wrestling and like locked into the product, McMahon obviously is not now. He's just not.
Mm-hmm.
He's got so many other things he's got to worry about now. It's like he can't like focus on the business aspect.
He's got so much money,
like,
he shouldn't
financial
give a shit
business
about it either.
aspect of WWE and re-kicking off the XFL and doing all those like fucking whatever and all these TV deals, and he can't do all that and be there writing all these fucking witty storylines and everything. You can't do that shit anymore. Like, he can't do all that. And he finally realizes it, and he's like, you know what? Someone else has to do the fucking like on-air shit and the backstage shit for these shows. And I think he's got two great fucking people to do it. Now, a lot of people were saying, why didn't you give Triple H a shot? And I think probably the best answer to that is, if this doesn't work, Triple H doesn't get the blame. And he still has NXT.
You think that?
Great. He's doing incredible things with NXT.
I think that's probably why he was able to keep it, maybe.
What?
That he's doing incredible things with it.
What, NXT?
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm like, why didn't Triple H get a SmackDown or Raw?
I think he's probably happy in his role. I mean, not that I don't.
He probably is, but I think that's what it would be. Is maybe he turned it down backstage, back behind the camera. Maybe he's like, "Hey, do you want this?"
But you think
Triple
it's
H like, no.
They didn't want to see him crash and burn
but
one
if
of
that's
them.
not the case, and they didn't offer it to Triple H, I would figure that to be wise. It's like, let's say they give Triple H or whatever, but the fans are too it's too late now, and this whole idea fails. Well, now everyone's gonna be like, well, look, Triple H.
That would be a weird thing if Triple H took over. I think he would have like the general manager championship or something. He'd go beat up Bischoff on Raw for it. Bischoff, where's your karate gi? I told you, I'm not doing this.
Get Paul Heyman's cell phone. Get your gi over here. We're going to face each other.
It's a 5-minute squash match. I'm only going to hit you with a sledgehammer once.
I'm just going to kill you.
Can I do some kicks? No.
You can kick the post. So, yeah, I think that's why Triple H didn't get it. I think that's why he didn't get it. Maybe not, but who knows? Both Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff. Well, first off, what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
I think that everybody's going to want Paul Heyman to take over for the show and immediately have it be like ECW, and I want to preface what I say.
I don't think he will.
No, it won't happen like that.
He's too smart for that.
Yes, but some of the things I want to happen would be, are they going to get maybe the last hour TVMA or some sort of ratings leniency of some sort?
From what I gather and from what I've heard from other places, they're scrapping the PG era completely.
Okay, that's good.
So
that's
the
real
last
good.
10 years or so, they've geared toward, kids, 8 to whatever, 14. I guess they're just going back after what put them in a position of power in the first place, 18 to 34.
That would be amazing. That sounds almost too good to be true.
I know. That's why it's one of those things where I'm like I hear all this shit and I'm like, I'm not going to fucking bite on this yet. I'm going to sit and wait and prove it to me.
Yeah. I wish they would use heavier music. You know,
For the intro. Bring back the fucking Raw is War, like, thorn in your eye and
yeah, you can't have White Zombie like ECW.
Why not?
You could. You can. We can have it.
That's right. I'm
We
going to
could dub our own.
re-edit every goddamn show.
I'd like to see some heavier music. I'd like to see some cool, heavier music in it. You know.
Yeah, why not?
I'd like a ringside table, just a wooden table for people to go flying through. That'd be too indicative of the old ECW though. But
Whatever.
that would be cool. I'd love to see a ramp that extends the whole way to the ring to differentiate it from the other program. And at this point, you could say all the pay-per-views that have done it in the past. You know.
Well, something that both Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff has said about the brand extension and about, because that's one thing, like Eric Bischoff did the first brand extension back in NWO and WCW. That was the sold out pay-per-view back in 97 or whatever it was, 96, 97. That was a all NWO pay-per-view, all matches. He started to do that and it failed miserably. So that was the first
Had like a dozen NWO commercials in it, I think, for T-shirts and shit. Buy this, Chico.
Yeah. So that was the first brand extension, and it failed. And then the second one was in the early 2000s, and that lasted a few years, but it didn't work. And this one is not working because, and they made light of it. Both of them made light of this because it doesn't feel legit. It doesn't feel organic. It's not two brands, it's two shows.
When I was watching the recaps before I came down here, they were identical. They had
SmackDown or Raw?
Yeah. There was Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens.
And you know the biggest thing?
It was half of the guys were the same. The New Day, half of the guys were on the same shit.
The biggest thing is not only does each show feel the same, just different color, they're doing Raw recaps on SmackDown.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want a brand extension, but you're fucking showing the other brand on your, like, that's not a brand extension.
Now, I saw a meme about this.
It's a fucking extension of Raw onto SmackDown.
I was hoping this was true at first. It said Paul Heyman's in charge one night and already gets rid of the stupid LEDs. I did think it was cool. They did the explosion through the LED wall. I like the bumps that have this fireworks because it kind of reminds me of the Japanese shit. Like when, remember when Big Show gorilla pressed John Cena off the stage through a big circular and it blew up. That was cool. I did like that. And how cartoonish are these LED ring posts?
Stupid.
And
I fucking hate them.
What if they got rid of those? Not even if they got rid of those. I hate them too, but what if
actually they're gonna put fucking Christmas lights on the goddamn ropes.
What if they had a smaller ring? What if they went to the, what was it,
18 by 18?
What if they did that on
16
Raw?
by Paul Heyman has a 16 by 16. Like, whoa, no. No, I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think so either. That's one of my unrealistic ECW things.
One of them brought in 18 by 18 just to make it a little grittier. I really want to see, like, when we did this before, like, whatever episode it was, and I said before, is like, for each show, have a completely different film crew, like a different company, like, produce it, and so it feels like a different show.
Oh yeah, they have to do away with some of the editing. One thing
the zoom editing, stop that shit. Fuck me.
I don't know much about it, but one thing that I read about and realized immediately is not during matches, but between matches, between segments, they'll do a fadeaway where the screen just fades into another screen. As opposed to like a hard cut, I guess. And that's, once you notice that. Do the
Star Wars cut, where it fucking like the Windows Media Player, where it just does a slideshow something. Like something like that.
And my one other, this is, I think, possibly a realistic request that Paul Heyman will bring back, is the greatest commentator of all time, Joey Styles.
Unlikely.
What's he doing?
I highly doubt he will come back and work under McMahon.
Oh, really? They hate each other?
I just don't see that. I mean, we've seen crazier shit in wrestling. Yeah, we've seen crazier comebacks.
That's one of my Hail Marys that if Heyman takes over, I'd like to see that.
You never know. Sometimes
more balcony dives.
Super Bowl, but
I want to see more balcony dives now that Heyman's back. I want New Jack to come back. I want to have Ice Cube.
Dude, these aren't Hail Marys. These are fucking.
Listen,
like, you might as well play the lottery.
I want Ice Cube and Dr. Dre to perform Natural Born Killers live on stage in Compton while New Jack stabs Daniel Bryan in the head with a fucking scythe.
If I turn on Raw and I see New Jack coming out to the ring,
and they're in Compton,
that's it.
The place is burning down.
That's
He's wearing orange. They wouldn't know what to do. Everyone would just beat the shit out of each other. It'd just be depending on what color bandana he had on, how bad the damage would be.
He switched it halfway through the match. Fuck, what were you doing?
Oh, my God.
I doubt that's happening. Joey Styles will be back 6 times before that fucking happens.
Yeah.
So that's not even a Hail Mary. That's you might as well play the lottery and win it a few times.
Yeah, Hail Mary ain't helping you out with that. Gotta hail somebody else for that one.
Yeah.
What do you think about, I think Heyman, what hand did he have in providing these guys the stage to deliver awesome promos in ECW? Do you think, was he behind the scenes influencing them and, like, you know, verbally slapping him in the face and saying, you're fired up because of this, so-and-so took your belt, you got hit in the back of the head with a chair? Do you think he was firing people up for promos? Do you think
in that way, maybe? I don't know.
You think he can up the promo game?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fucking Heyman. I mean, you see promos back in the day from, like, stars that became, like, superstars in WWF.
Austin and Foley.
Like, their promos in ECW were fucking, like, out of this world. Mm-hmm. And they were long promos, but you fucking listen to them. Like, they weren't like the long promos that you hear, like, nowadays, where they're just, like, you're hearing it and they're saying words, but you're not listening to what they're saying because you don't fucking care. Like, but back then, like, they were talking and you were just like, what the fuck else are they gonna say?
Yeah, it's more like a sports interview now, you know?
Yeah. Which, all right, that works for some
sometimes.
people. Brock Lesnar can do the sports interview, the sit-down pre-UFC fight thing. That works for him.
Oh, that's not even mean people just standing backstage, like, holding their neck. It seems like somebody's backstage like, yeah, I wish I got more passes when I was in the three-point zone, but...
It's funny you say backstage, like, thing. That's one thing Paul Heyman said in, I think it's Between the Ropes.
He never didn't show much of that, did he?
It's a YouTube thing. I think it's Between the Ropes. Paul Heyman made reference to the backstage interviews and stuff. He goes, you never see any other wrestlers backstage, like, crossing behind the camera and shit. Like, it doesn't look real. Like, if you're
you didn't on ECW on his program, or you don't on
No,
TV
I mean
currently?
WWE right now.
Okay.
It's always
because they fucked up too many times. They'll have, like, Mick Foley's supposed to be kidnapped and he's walking in the background while the Rock is getting into a limousine or some shit.
Mean, even so, like, when you're backstage and you do oh, I just caught this guy, I'm going to interview him. It's so squeaky clean. It's so glossy.
Oh, and there's a banner behind him. Yeah,
you never see him just, like, with the other athletes. I'm like, are you kidding me? We're in the locker room and that's the only guy. There's no other fucking wrestlers back there. It's like Paul Heyman said that himself. Like, no. It's like, if we're in the locker room, there's got to be like, where's the rest of them? Like, that's realistic. Like, be real, be grounded, be, like, in this fucking world. Like, not this isn't a fucking Hollywood movie every Monday. Like, stop being so glossy.
Or you get a name tag like you did for Taz or Goldberg and put that on the broom closet and empty it out and make it look like some people have to have their own dressing rooms, you know that.
Yeah. And Goldberg has to headbutt shit and fucking make himself bleed.
I'm looking forward to seeing what Heyman, the roster on Raw seems to be really good. I'd like to see him work with Sami Zayn and Owens and Cesaro. Like, there's a lot of guys that are real good technically.
He speaks highly of Cesaro.
Does he really? That's
big
cool.
Time.
That's
yeah.
good.
Yes,
they ought to give him a good mouthpiece.
In
his mouth and
well, Cesaro is not great at talking, but he's good at fucking everything else when it comes to wrestling.
How is he not good at talking and he has an accent? They can't find a good enough fucking vehicle for that guy to make him funny or evil or something that.
So I think Cesaro could be a top tier.
No doubt.
Heel.
He's a 10 out of 10 wrestler.
Yes.
And they say they say he tells, like, the shittiest jokes too. He's just got, like, this weird shitty grasp, but I don't know. They made a.
I mean, that's why they're saying that he's not good fucking. Whatever the fuck I just said, whatever the proper fucking response to that is.
Sami Zayn
whatever
tells
came
a lot
out of my
stories.
mouth, I don't even think was fucking English. But
Sami Zayn tells a lot of stories about him just saying saying everyday phrases, but messing them up and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah, there is a lot of talent that Heyman could pick from on Raw. He's on record. He's gone on to say that because he was asked before, it's like, who would you call up from NXT? Like, who would you like to get your hands on if you were ever in charge? And he said the entire NXT roster.
Here's the guys I got that I want to see get called up.
Before you go on to that, like, Heyman is huge on taking young talent and building them up. He always has been. He still is.
Yeah.
And that was one of the big things when he was named. It's like, oh,
Rhino, Carino.
Heyman's going to take over Raw. I'm like, fuck. So all these guys that came up from NXT and just got thrown to the side
Yep.
are not going to get thrown to the side. Now they're actually, like, you have Ricochet up there.
Yeah, he can use him really well, too.
He's got to be one of the best in the world right now. The fucking guy doesn't even know what gravity is. Like, I mean, come on.
There's enough guys, even if they did already throw those guys to the side and they brought up the NXT guys, that I would be fine with those guys being thrown to the side. There's enough good guys in NXT.
There's so much raw talent in WWE right now on all different levels. NXT UK, just everywhere. Like, you could get rid of the entire rosters and immediately fill it back up with one of the other rosters. Like, it's unbelievable how much talent. And that's what just boggles your mind even more is how can you have so much talent? Like, personality. There's guys that can talk, like, incredibly. Guys that are immaculate wrestlers, have awesome looks. Drew McIntyre is a good wrestler, really good wrestler, and he has a hell of a fucking look. And like they just do the same shit with him over and over. They have awesome talkers. Like the Usos are great on the mic. Bray Wyatt's fucking like he's like he's like our Mick
I've only
Foley
seen one or
and
two
shit.
of those Bray Wyatt House Pee Wee Herman promos, but they're great.
Yeah, like he's on a whole nother level. He's right up there with like The Rock back in the day and Mick Foley back in the day, like Raven back in the day, like. He's on this whole nother level of mic skills. But you have all these, like all these talents and everything, and they're not doing anything with it. So it's like, how the hell do you manage that? But whatever. So at least with Paul Heyman, you have that. And then Eric Bischoff, who focuses, like, on drama. Like, big time on drama for his storylines and stuff. So, again.
Stephanie's getting pregnant.
Oh, Jesus.
With Shane's baby. It's finally going to happen.
That's Vince McMahon's idea.
It's going to be like Ross and Rachel after all these years are finally going to get to it.
What's Triple H going to do?
Watch. He's going to book it.
I screwed your brains out. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that'll be an Eric Bischoff thing. Why not?
All right, so my top three guys I'd like to see from NXT get signed to anywhere is Keith Lee. I'm big on Keith Lee. You familiar with him?
Yeah. He's
awesome. I'd like to see him. He could feud with Brock or Lashley or any of those guys.
Lashley hasn't even feuded with Brock, and that's the one.
Really? That hasn't happened?
Everyone's been waiting for. That was one of the terms of Lashley coming back to WWE is like, I want to feud with Brock. Okay. Hasn't happened.
He's no good as a good guy.
I don't
He's
think
just
Brock
weird.
wants to feud with him. I think that's what it is, and like it's just kind of not said.
He needs more. Lashley doesn't have enough expression in his face. I don't want to say it.
Lashley has.
It's because he has no eyebrows, okay?
Lashley has like a neutral, mean face and a happy face, and that's it. Like there's no anger anywhere.
But if he's surprised, look what my eyebrows do. Now, if Lashley does it,
surprised.
It's like, why are your eyes so wide, man? What are you looking at me like that for?
Are you high?
Yeah.
Not you.
Matt Riddle. I love Matt Riddle.
Yes.
Speaking of being high, segue.
Yeah.
Cactus Jack.
Yes, Matt Riddle. I like him because he doesn't give a fuck. And he's almost hard style. I mean, he uses the UFC style, but if you watch him wrestle, I mean, it could really pass as hard style.
Throw some crazy suplexes.
Matt Riddle versus Shinsuke Nakamura. But Shinsuke Unleashed, not the fucking WWE 2018 Shinsuke. Like, Shinsuke being Shinsuke Nakamura. Awesome. I think that match would be fucking brutal.
That would be great. Yeah, I love Matt Riddle. He has the best senton bomb I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, better than Sean O'Hare?
Senton bomb, where he runs and jumps over them, and he jumps just super high in the air and vertically, and he just flies through the air. It's pretty impressive.
Well, that's a flips.
And he's from Saratoga. Also, who I think Bobby Fish is from Saratoga too, isn't he?
Is he? I think he is from around
from the area. Yeah, I wanted to mention him because he showed up on the NXT thing there. And Oni Lorcan, previously known as Biff Busick on the indie scene, is excellent also.
Yeah.
He's very intense. When you were talking earlier, I was trying to listen. I kind of zoned out for a while.
fucker.
Shit. Now I was formulating this idea in my head that WWE has their level of physical talent their tank is massively full, but the personality aspect of it, they have much more physical talent than personality talent.
It's either physical look or in-ring ability. But yeah,
it's got to be a slight struggle too, because they want guys that are in shape that can perform on a tight schedule, run all these shows over and over, and diversify and wrestle well amongst each other.
I think they should do that too. Is cut back in the house shows.
You think so?
Yeah, because I mean you're flooding the market almost. I think. How many times have I heard like WWE? Oh, they're in the area. They're down in Albany.
They're in Glens Falls tonight, and they were in Albany 2 months ago. That's true.
Yeah, like
that's twice within 50 miles in month and a half.
It used to be
so.
like twice a year they'd come around. One TV taping and one house show. Unless you want to travel like 3-4 hours to go, to one, but it wouldn't like now. It's like they're around. I wonder if they're strategically
maybe. I wonder if they're strategically placing some of their events in near where other indies are running big shows. If Ring of Honor is running a big show,
apparently they're doing that with AEW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going against them.
Yeah, they're Evolve. Evolve, I think, is that whole spiel that Evolve's running a show at the same time as an AEW charity event, which is like a scrubby move, but shots fired. It's gonna be it's
an AEW charity event, also being their third show as they launch a direct assault on WWE symbolically and literally.
Well, no, like I said before, I think this is Vince McMahon putting out the feelers to see. It's like, how serious is this AEW? Can Evolve fucking like beat them?
No.
Draw in a better crowd?
No, I don't think so.
Well, Evolve? No. I don't either, but I think this is what I mean. I think this is McMahon seeing like, how serious are these guys? Which I think, like, I wasn't gonna automatically jump on the bandwagon, because there are people in these belt forums and shit that I'm in that as soon as AEW was announced, fuck WWE, the piece of shit, AEW all the way. Which all they did was announce the fucking name and put out a T-shirt.
Initially,
that's
people were
all
saying
they fucking did. There wasn't even a show yet. Not even a fucking pay-per-view, no TV deal, anything at the time, and they were just automatically on the bandwagon. Like, that's fucking a little nutty to me. Like, I want to see a product before I'm like, yay or nay.
It took a while for the Young Bucks shirt, the Bullet Club shirt, to be like everybody had one, and then like it becomes not cool, kind of.
Yeah, like Stone Cold, like Austin 316 and DX thing. But so I waited for. What was that pay-per-view? All Out, or no, Double or Nothing. It was Double or Nothing. That was John Moxley made his debut, and the Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks. I waited for that pay-per-view, and I watched it. And after that pay-per-view, I was like, you know what? It was probably one of the best. I'm not going to say the best, because NXT fucking knocks it out of the park almost every single time. But one of the best pay-per-views this year so far. And maybe even in the last couple of years.
That was with Goldust against Cody?
Yep.
Nice.
And that match is brutal. Then Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho, which that was kind of a rehash of their first match, but it was still fucking good.
I saw a pretty ridiculous spot from what I think was that match. I think there was a table set up on Jericho, and Kenny Omega double stomped it off the top rope or some crazy shit like that.
Yeah, it was one of the matches. But, so I watched in the Battle Royal they had, which was kind of a mishmash. It was fucking, the Battle Royal was kind of shitty, but like,
How about Joey Janela's elimination in that, getting choke slammed through a table head first?
Yes. that was like, oh.
I had to rewind that about 3 or 4 times. Those tables were cool. They were very strong.
Yeah. So I watched that. The Battle Royal was a fucking. It was. I mean, most Battle Royals are kind of shitty anyway, and there's just a bunch of people thrown in.
How does No Legs get eliminated? His asshole has to touch the ringside area?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't know.
His elbows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or his hand?
That was cool though to see him in there. That was cool.
The big question: you think he's got a dick?
No.
I was asking for Rich. He always asks how people's dicks are.
That's true.
Shout out Rich's dick.
So yeah, I watched the pay-per-view.
He doesn't,
And
by the way.
I know. What, Rich? Oh, no legs?
Yeah.
Either one, whatever. Maybe it's the same person. Anyway, I watched a pay-per-view, and after that, I was all in. I was like, okay, these guys are legit. The fact that Tony Khan, the owner, is such a huge wrestling fanatic. Like, he's
Tony Khan, who's that? He's the owner of
the
AEW?
guy
I've
that
never heard of him.
owns AEW.
How did he come to...
I don't know if...
The Young Bucks partnered with some company.
I think he got a hold of... I could be wrong, but I think he got a hold of Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks. And
those three are...
he said, all right, so he's... like, his family is worth, like... I don't know if it's like 130 some billion dollars, like with a B billion. His family owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. They own some football, soccer organization over in Europe. I'll put them up on the screen. I'll have to fact check them. But so him and his family know the business aspect of sports teams and just franchises and shit. He himself is a huge wrestling mark. He knows matches, dates, pay-per-views, who wrestled where,
So he can get you-
WCW, ECW, WWF. He knows his fucking
And
wrestling.
he'll get you a killer venue.
He is a huge wrestling mark. Huge fan. So take that money that he's worth and his love of the business, not just the entire business, and now went to Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks with all their like love of the business and how to like work matches and shit. And it's like, hey, let's start this shit. And they did. Now you have someone who I think can strongly rival McMahon the way WCW did, but also couldn't back in the day, because WCW was run by people who knew television, not wrestling. Television.
I had no idea up until now that AEW had access to a bottomless supply of money.
Pretty much.
I did not know that.
Pretty much.
Huh.
They have a TV deal on TNT. I can't remember what day it is. It's not directly against WWE because they know they've said themselves, like, we don't want to compete with WWE. We want to be the alternative.
Yeah, Billy Gunn told me that when we were on the throughway and he was driving. When he was in my car, it was we went to IHOP that day.
You were sucking them off, weren't you?
No, when I was driving.
Oh, yes, you were.
That would be illegal.
That's true. Good point. All right, fair enough.
No, he did say that.
But that's what all of them have said, and I think they've said it enough. They've said it enough to the point where I was like, okay, you don't want to compete with them, but they're saying it in a way where it's legit. Like, they're not just, it's not like some catchphrase like, we don't want to compete with them, we want to be the alternative.
The alternative still means that you're going to use something else.
Well, you see their product, and they're definitely not WWE. They're definitely, it's like a mix of New Japan, WCW, and ECW. It's like all of them together.
Pepsi's an alternative to Coke.
Basically.
You can start buying one and not buying the other one.
Yeah.
They're not saying they're trying to put them out of business. They're probably just... They're
fucking Surge and Mountain Dew. I love Surge.
They're saying they're not going to try to put them out of business, I guess, but they're...
Yeah, but it's definitely an alternative. And, yeah, they have...
But do you know who is going to stomp it all out? Somebody who's on the WWE creative team, on the Raw creative team, under the guise of Paul Heyman. Dewey Foley.
Dewey?
Dewey.
Is he really on the creative? I know he wanted to be. I didn't know he was actually on the creative.
How long before there's
He's going to be the one guy? He's going to be the guy?
They had a sign that said, "I Kane Dewey." Or it said Kane Dewey. Vince owns the old ECW footage. How long before Dewey is on TV? And the Miz is trying to bang his sister or something. And Maurice is like mad.
You have a dead bod. What? Noel, where are you?
All right, hear me out. Mick and Dewey Foley against the Miz and Maurice. Hell in a Cell.
Well, Miz doesn't take huge bumps, so obviously they're going to win.
Yeah, Foley could still take a better bump than the Miz could.
Probably. with his fucked up hips and everything.
One more thing before I finish up my Raw notes. You think Heyman can do anything crazy with John Cena, who's just doing what, selling paper towels now?
I heard this week that John Cena is actually thinking about retirement now. So,
So he'll be back as a general manager in 5 years once his movie career goes from Slim to Zill. Zill is a combination of zero.
There's also
and nil.
word that John Cena is going to be in a MCU. So
He's going to host it?
no, he's going to be in the MCU.
The medical corrections
Marvel,
unit?
you're a fucking
Prison?
Yes.
Manchester County? Marvel character universe. As who?
I don't know. I don't know. I highly doubt it would happen. I would see him in the DCU first because that's a fucking failing thing. But anyway.
Who do you think would be the best character that he could play in either universe?
Invisible Woman.
Invisible. Maybe he's already been in all these movies.
What are you laughing at? I'm serious.
Maybe they're building up to it and he's already been in all of them.
Maybe. He's going to be the ultimate baddie.
So picture this.
All right.
8 years ago, I'm drunk at a bar in North Carolina at a midget wrestling show / heavy metal concert.
That sounds like a fucking awesome night
It was
already.
amazing. It was amazing.
That's a magically awesome, heavy greatness.
I met like Knobs and Pat Tanaka, and I got my picture taken with midgets, a little midget pimp. That was a crazy night. But I met Eric Bischoff.
Of that night.
Hulk Hogan did commentary. I was unable to meet him.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They were filming Micro Championship Wrestling for fucking.
Micro Championship Wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
I had to sign a waiver just if they wanted to put me on TV. At one point, there was a stage, and there was a security guy, and I was drunk, and I walked up, and I was going to go on stage, and I handed him a 20, and he's like, "Seriously?" And I'm like, "Yep, just take it." And he's like, "Whatever, dude." And he took it, and like he would have just let me walk by, but I was standing on stage watching these midgets staple each other in the head and shit. But I talked to Eric Bischoff, and I drunkenly just talked to him for 30, 45 seconds, and he was just very smiling, politely, like knowing I was wasted, but he could tell I was super into wrestling.
Stupid.
And he took a picture with me. Maybe if I could find it, we'll put it up.
Yeah.
And shook
right
my hand.
there.
It was super cool. But he was just talking about him running SmackDown. It was cool meeting him. It was slightly political, but you could also tell there was a little bit of humanity there, that he was, a nice guy.
Right. Yeah, he always seems super chill when he's talking. He was on a Ted Ed talk before, and I really liked. Yeah, I really liked that. That was a good one. That was a good episode. I like Ted Ed anyway, but yeah, but he was on that.
Isn't it just Ted?
No, it was Ed.
Ted Talk.
Oh yeah, maybe it was.
I think it's called Ted Talk.
Isn't
right?
there a Ted Ed? Or maybe that's something else. It's something Ed.
I don't know.
It is TED Talk. Whatever.
I don't know.
Oh, but it was a good episode. It's talking about how news facets have now followed the pro wrestling formula. But
that is something. Huh.
it does. He goes, news. The whole thing was, in a nutshell, was news doesn't make you think, it makes you feel now. And that's what wrestling does. It doesn't make you think, it makes you feel. It's called cheap heat.
17 infants killed as a school bus plunges into...
No, not even not even that. Like, just cheap heat. Like when they have a political thing, it's like, well, now transgender people get their own bathroom, or fucking, whatever. Like, if you were male, you're female, now you can go in the female bathroom. And it's like, not really reporting anything that like is objective, or them being like just not either side. They're just like, well, here's what's happening. What do you think? And they put it all over fucking social media. Like, that's bullshit.
That
Fuck
is
these
such
guys.
a widespread. I've talked to a number of people about the transgender bathroom thing, which is what this podcast is about.
It is the whole thing.
But I would.
We just veered off topic.
I would tell these people. I said, I don't know. Maybe this is more of an issue in the big cities, and in California or New York City or San Francisco, or maybe this crazy all this bathroom shenanigans must be going on in Miami and these really populated areas, and people are like, no, not really. It doesn't really happen. It's a very small percentage of the population, and there's not these crazy scenarios and situations.
That's serious, but it's fucking like elevated on this super platform.
That's a nicely booked angle.
So everyone's like, "What? I've never heard of this. This is bullshit." I'm like, man. Well, yeah. So that was his episode. So yeah, Eric Bischoff, like,
They broke a table on SmackDown on Thursday. Was he in control of this week's episode? No.
From what I gather, neither of them are getting complete control till after the next pay-per-view, which is Extreme Rules at the shooting this right now. I couldn't even fucking tell you like when the pay-per-view is, next week or the week after. I don't know, but they're not gonna be in full control until after that pay-per-view. Then they are. I think
They're
Paul
gonna do Extreme
Heyman,
Rules, and then Vince is gonna say something oddly sexual to Paul during it. He's gonna like come up and put his hand in his back pocket and be like, "See this? Next year you could control all of this and book it however you want."
Yeah. I think Paul Heyman had his fingers.
Where? In what? Who? He's involved with a woman on the roster. We're hearing it here first. Who is it?
Woman, that's presumptuous.
Oh my. Yeah, you're right.
In the writing of Raw for the last couple weeks, but from what I gather, Eric Bischoff hasn't done anything with SmackDown yet. So that is, I don't know exactly when or what they're doing right now behind the scenes, but as of it's on my foot.
Don't move. It'll move on its own.
Stop humping when he's done.
Just hold on.
Don't touch it. What if it? So lethal.
Yeah, we're good. EpiPen.
In my pee hole.
EpiPenis.
So yeah, that they'll have both creative control after the next pay-per-view. I'm really excited to see what happens with it. I don't want to be overexcited, and I don't want to be like, counting my chickens before they hatch, I guess. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this is a step in the right direction, and it's something they sorely need, so bad.
They need noticeable changes. Some of the roster is so good too.
I know,
man.
They do need noticeable changes, and if they truly get the same treatment that Triple H has with NXT, I think there could be huge changes. And I really hope that one of them is the zooming in on moves when they happen. I really do.
Oh, yeah, I don't like that either.
I fucking hate that.
I don't like
on
it.
So many levels.
How about the slow motion replays that go into fast motion close to point of impact? That's pretty annoying, too.
All the stupid gimmicky camera shit, I fucking hate it with the power of 1,000 suns. Like, stop it.
What if they just had one guy doing fan cam and they had just like a fan cam show on a fan cam of Raw? They just had one guy's angle of the whole thing, of everything that went on. You'd have to run all the fuck around though.
Yeah, that would be way too much. That would be too much stress on the cameraman. Like, fuck me. Yeah. No, like, have multiple camera, have the hard cam, have whatever.
What do you think about former super accomplished deathmatch wrestler Drake Younger and current NXT referee coming up to referee on Raw under the guise of Paul Heyman and getting embroiled in a feud with somebody and having one last death match at WrestleMania?
I want to see Hayabusa come back from the dead.
I can't believe you just said that. I took a genealogy test, and I could be related to him. I'm .002 Japanese. And I always wanted to get a tattoo of a falcon.
That wasn't a genealogy test. That was a fucking STD. That was herpes, man.
Hayabusa means Tyler in Japanese.
No, Tyler means Hayabusa in Japanese.
That's true.
You're stupid.
You know there's a Tyler motorcycle?
There is?
No.
Wow.
I am an Indian, though.
Yeah? For like Native American or India?
I don't know.
How do you not know?
Whatever's the cooler one, bro.
Jesus Christ.
That's it?
What else do you want to talk about?
Rich and Charlie. What do you think about those guys? I think they're kind of weird.
I bet you they're fucking right now.
Each other, or animals, or do you think there's like do you think among people who watch like bestiality porn, there's people that like will only watch it like veal, like when they're banging like a baby cow? And do you think some of the guys that are into bestiality, you're like, oh, those fucking sickos, oh my god, I'll watch a guy rail a fucking a full-grown heifer, but if I see a guy banging a 1-year-old, a 3-month-old cow, that guy can fucking go to hell. He's sick. Or do you think they're all just like free for all? How can we find out?
Strangely, that's a really deep question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We should call Charlie if anybody knows anything about it.
Absolutely. Where is my phone?
He's an animal husbandry. Get him on speakerphone.
He's not. I'll text him.
Yeah, it's only 1:12 in the morning. Yeah, we should probably kill this.
So, all right, I'll text him after then.
Yeah.
So the next show, we got to film everyone here. That's what we got to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what the next topic's going to be, but I can tell you this, not from personal experience, we're not going to involve alcohol, specifically vodka.
Right. Right.